श्रीवत्सवं शकलशोदधिकौस्तुभस्य श्रीवासराघवगुरोस्तनयं ततश्च विद्या अवाप्य विबुधोत्तमतां दधानं कुर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यं रामानुजदयापात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता योतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानामाद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरस्य महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरयोगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकालयतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्. In the previous lecture, we saw about how Bhagavad Ramanuja dealt with Kudrishtis. There were people against him at various stages of life. How people got persecution of Vaishnavas done for political reasons. The problems came because of that. Or how people, even within the community of Vaishnavas, not everybody accepted change. The priest of Sri Rangam did not want to accept the teachings of Bhagavad Ramanuja. Or if we see, there are cases of people disliking Bhagavad Ramanuja and appearing in front of me, if and in front of him, 1000 at once to debate. Or if you look at the people who did not appreciate his presence in their village, no matter what it was, no matter which kind of people came in front of him, the way Bhagavad Ramanuja responded was with Sattva Guna. He did not treat enemies as people who need to be defeated, conquered that way. His aim was to bring everybody to the fold of bhakti. That was his aim. The biggest gap during Bhagavad Ramanuja's time was bhakti in the minds of people. And therefore, his focus was on that. So every now and then, we will see examples of during the life of Bhagavad Ramanuja. We would see examples of certain Kudrishtis, what they tried to do, how it did not harm him. When Kudrishtis snatched the Bodhayana Vritti away, it did not prevent Bhagavad Ramanuja from composing the Sri Bhashya. What did he do in retaliation to them? Nothing. Because they weren't even able to harm him. Even if they had harmed him in some way, like how the Chola king would harm Kuresha because he cannot harm Bhagavad Ramanuja. Even in those cases, did Bhagavad Ramanuja take revenge? He did not take revenge. He stuck to helping the needy. Therefore, Kuresha, we will see the story in detail later. When Kuresha lost his eyesight, Bhagavad Ramanuja, with the grace of Bhagavan, brought back special eyes. He was willing to give complete eyesight back, but Kuresha said, I don't want my eyes to see anybody other than Bhagavan and you. You are my Acharya. Through you, I know Bhagavan. Therefore, I wish to see only you and Bhagavan, and Bhagavad Ramanuja granted such a wish. So, if we look at the story of Bhagavad Ramanuja, one of the many, many teachings is that you should not take revenge. My Venerable Acharya used to say that this is one of the most important. A lot of things in Mahabharata. So many things are discussed. Bhishma teaching Yudhishthira alone goes for like 25% of Mahabharata. It is so huge. And we celebrate specific parts like Sanat Sujati. We celebrate uh, Vishnu Sahasranama, Bhagavad Gita, and so on in the Mahabharata. But if you, as a common person, see the story of what is going on in the Kuru Vamsha, the biggest lesson that you would get is that revenge, the feeling of revenge, is a bad thing. A will harm B, B will take revenge on A will take revenge because revenge was taken on A. The people on A's side will also go and take. This kind of story will come again and again and again in Mahabharata. It will be repeated so many times. This does not lead to any good outcome. So, how should one behave when something unjust has happened? What is the sattvic way to respond? If we look at the life of Bhagavad Ramanuja, we can learn that. Of course, it is very difficult to practice. Learning is easy, practicing is difficult, but we should at least try our best. As a person who showed compassion to everybody, Bhagavad Ramanuja has said in his Gita Bhashya, as well as his Brahma Sutra Bhashya, that is the Sri Bhashya, that we need to show compassion to everybody. Bhagavan is the Antaryami of everybody. Everybody is Bhagavad Sharira. Thinking that way, we have to treat all living beings in the same way. Now, if a person has come and harmed us in some way, the first thing we need to do is nullify the harm. The second thing that we need to do is prevent ourselves from getting harmed again. Nullification of the harm and prevention of further harm. These are the most important things that we should be doing. In fact, if we do nothing else, it is totally fine. But how many people in real life behave this way? If a person uses uncivil language, let us say a person uses an uncivil language, foul words, and abuses another person. Person A is hurling abuses at person B. B gets hurt by it. Oh, he called me this. How dare he call me this? Let me call him that. We see this in the world, especially with the current generations, the current working class, especially 40s and younger, and even more so as you go to a population that's younger and younger. We are also seeing these traits distributed in a way that makes it feel that it is even. You cannot say that a person in South India abuses less than a person in North India. use of words is different from intent. So now, when somebody speaks, when A hurls bad words at B, the first response of B is hurling back bad words back at A. This is what we are seeing. What should B ideally do? Given that the words of A were hurtful, B should nullify the harm. That is, B should make his mind come out of that bad feeling. First, get out of the bad feeling. Why is this necessary? Why should this be the first step? If you cannot get rid of the bad feeling, your action, that is your reaction, will have no guarantee of being sattvic. It will not have any guarantee of being mature and most productive and morally correct. In the case of Bhagavad Ramanuja, of course, he was a special person. He would feel bad when Bhagavan is insulted. But if somebody were to come and insult Bhagavad Ramanuja himself, he wouldn't feel bad about it. So either you develop proactive resistance, or you develop resistance to react. I shouldn't react out of impulse. Instead, I should first calm my mind. I should bring it to a good state. It's like this. When a mosquito sits on my hand and starts sucking blood, there are times when I don't feel the pain. But then there are certain mosquitoes. Somehow, when they bite, we feel a sudden pricking sensation. So, as common people, what are we expected to do? When there is a sudden pricking sensation, we immediately detect it's a mosquito and then we hit it. Ha! It dies. That is a reaction born out of impulse because suddenly the pain came. In the case of the mosquito, we know for a fact that the pain will go away in 2-3 minutes. Usually it goes away in that much time. But what about the impact of bad words hurled at us or bad actions done against us? That impact could last much longer. It could harm us for a much longer period of time. Sometimes it could harm us for our rest of our lives. So, the first thing that we should do when we are hurt is apply medicine to ourselves before going and attacking the other person. Is that how you behave in war? When the enemy comes and hits me, are you telling me to first apply medicine on myself? If I go to apply medicine, he will hit me again and kill me. That is war. War is different. Peace is different. When we live here in a civilized society, we are not facing wartime. Wartime is faced in the Middle East. Wartime is faced elsewhere in Ukraine and so on. We don't have that here. And we have no right to compare our lives with the lives of soldiers who are risking their lives. So, whatever is being taught here is not apad dharma. It is not yuddha dharma. It is samanya dharma. Samanya dharma. And this is basic common sense. It is applicable to everybody, no matter which varna, which gender, which background you belong to. This is going to apply. So, reaction should be sattvic. That is one of the major teachings of Bhagavad Ramanuja's life. Okay, After ensuring that my mind is stable, what should I do? Can I go and immediately attack? No. Prevent yourself from getting harmed any further. Prevent yourself from getting harmed any further. Make sure you have that protection, that shield on. This is exactly what happened with Kuresha or with even the Sri Bhashya. So, although Bodhayana Vritti was snatched, its knowledge was retained by a Shishya of Bhagavad Ramanuja. With the help of that memory, the Sri Bhashya could be composed. And once the Sri Bhashya was composed, the attempt of the enemies failed completely. Their purpose was to prevent it from happening, but they could not prevent it. They failed automatically without going and doing anything to them. Their attempts had been rendered failures. This is very important for us to learn. This is extremely mature behavior. Do I not have the right to respond? I will go and respond to them in a language that they understand. No, that is fine for wartime. That is fine for wartime. That may be fine when two countries are dealing with each other. But that is not fine for a man who is living a normal life, a normal, otherwise peaceful life. We should learn dharma, and we should learn dharma from the authorities of dharma. If we start learning from those who abuse us, like somebody comes and uses bad words at me, if I also speak bad words to him, what would it mean? It would mean that I am learning from him. I am learning from him and I am imitating the behavior as him. Is that the correct approach? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yadyad acharati shresthaha tattadevetaro naraha sa yat pramanam kurute lokas tadanuvartate. Yadyad acharati shresthaha. The Shrestha Vyakti, one who is great, whatever he does, the world will follow. That is how you should be. You should follow great people. Acharashchaiva sadhunam. Not durachara of durvrittis and kudrishtis. So, for us, it is very, very important to learn what is motivating us to behave the way we are behaving. What is motivating me to speak? What is motivating me to speak back? He hit me, I will go and hit him again. What is motivating me? Which kind of feeling is it? Many times it's a feeling of twisted justice. It might sound very just. He hit me, therefore I will hit him. But what are you going to accomplish by hitting? Are you going to get mental peace? Yes, I have hit him. Now I can die happily. No. Whatever happiness you get after hitting the person back would be transient. It would disappear very quickly. And a person who reacts in this manner will not be able to build resistance. This resistance is very important. Lack of resistance is the reason why many people got converted away from Sanatana Dharma and still do. Whatever terms people might be using. Oh, they are converting by giving food. They are giving food to the poor and the poor are converting to their faith. Wait. Is your faith that weak that you are getting converted just for food? Where is the problem? Is the problem with the food or is the problem with you? These kinds of questions need to be asked. Only then would we be able to go to the root of problems and then solve these problems for good. So, what we should understand is first, heal ourselves. Next, prevent any kind of harm from coming to us. Then finish our work, finish whatever we were doing. Bhagavad Ramanuja composed the Sri Bhashya. Till today it is available. No problem. That's all. The enemy's attempt failed. Why should I care about them anymore when they cannot harm me? If you are able to prevent others from harm you with 100% confidence, you know that they cannot do anything to you and you don't have to worry about them. There are better things to worry about. Should I run after people who steal, people who use curse words, people who hit, people who behave in a very, very uncivil way and waste my life? Should I waste my life campaigning against them? Or should I spend my life in a more productive way so that it helps me and not just me, but the entire world? We have seen in the previous classes that one of the reasons why we call Bhagavad Ramanuja as Jagat Guru is that he taught the entire earth how to receive salvation, how to get out of this bondage of samsara. His teachings are applicable to the entire world. Swapara hitaparam. We have seen that shloka from Nyasa Vimshati, where the ideal guru should be thinking not just about himself, but about the welfare of everybody else as well. If you are able to think this much before reacting, your reaction would probably be sattvic. This is a very important lesson for us. Bhagavad Ramanuja, he taught us through two things. One, whatever he directly composed and wrote. The other, the way he lived his life. Why are we discussing the life of Bhagavad Ramanuja in a Vishishtadvaita class? Because the Vishishtadvaiti, how should the Vishishtadvaiti behave? As a person who acknowledges that everybody is Bhagavad Sharira, that Bhagavan is the Antaryami of everyone, everybody is in reality a dasa of Bhagavan. As a person who is declaring that I myself am a dasa of Bhagavan, I am a servant of Bhagavan, and I am a servant of Bhagavan. In that way, if I am acknowledging all of that, do I have the right to indulge in adharma and say, no, no, this is dharma because I am taking revenge? An eye for an eye would make the whole world blind. This is the teaching of Mahabharata, whether or not we like it. This is the teaching of our acharyas as well. So, we should practice exactly that. We see even in Shankara Digvijayam that when a Kapalika tries to kill Shankaracharya, there is a Kapalika, he wants to murder Shankaracharya and offer him as a human sacrifice. He wants to please his deity by offering a human sacrifice. Who has he found as the candidate for human sacrifice? Shankaracharya, sannyasi. What does Shankaracharya do? Does he go and attack him? Does he take his sannyasa danda and hit him? He does not do any of that. A sattvic reaction is what is made by the more mature people. Retaliation is not necessarily asattvic, but if you are retaliating, it also should be ensured as being sattvic. Bhagavad Ramanuja retaliated to his preceptor's teaching when Yadava Prakasha spoke inappropriately. Bhagavad Ramanuja retaliated to false statements about the Vedas, illogical criticisms of the Veda, misinterpretation of the Veda, and so on. We see in Sri Bhashya that Bhagavad Ramanuja uses words like others, some others, yet others. He wouldn't even directly name the opponents he is trying to refute. He will very utterly refute all of them. But he would use these kinds of words. Why? Because he does not intend any kind of encouragement to personal attack. What matters is the philosophy. It is not the person who speaks that matters. It is not the preacher that matters. What is preached is more important than the person who preaches. Unless the person is Sakshat Bhagavan. Well, even if it is Bhagavan and Bhagavan is preaching, at that point of time too, whatever he preaches will be important. So, living the way these great men have lived, these great guides have lived, we can also attain that level of saintliness and closeness to Bhagavan. Why are we not there yet? In a class of world philosophy, a lecturer asked, in the past, there were so many philosophers who are mentioned. We read about so many philosophers saying this is how the governance should happen. And these philosophers were at prominent positions and also helping the countries to run that way. Why don't we see such things now? Like, for instance, if you take the Rajagurus, they would guide the entire kingdom in ancient days, and therefore the entire kingdom would be dharmic. We don't see that many Rajagurus today. We don't see that qualified people. Where did we go wrong? We went wrong in two ways. One, people do not try to live that life. People are not interested in being saintly. Secondly, if by chance somebody becomes saintly, the people aren't willing to digest it. How can he become a saint? We will see in the future during Deshika's life how people get jealous just because he is dharmic and they are not, but they are pretending to be dharmic. They are namesake dharmic people. He is a real dharmic person. How can they digest it? Again and again, they will try to attack him. These kinds of things have happened a lot. Haters do anything they like. Haters spread fake narratives, but they cannot change facts. no matter what they do. So, what if I were to say that there are fake stories running around of Bhagavad Ramanuja? Fake stories that say he went to a Shiva temple, tried to convert it into a Vishnu temple. He went to a Kartikeya temple and converted it into a Muslim temple. He went to a Shakti temple and converted it into a Vaishnava temple. Sorry, if I mentioned it as Hindu temple by mistake, sorry, I meant Vaishnava temple. It is easy to say all of that. But of course, firstly, you need proof, which these people wouldn't have. But more importantly, do they really achieve anything by character assassinating and spreading such lies? They achieve nothing. The greatness of the sun cannot be changed by mere barking of the dog. The brightness of the sun is not influenced by the barking of the dog. The sun shines when it wants, the sun hides when it wants. But when the sun is there in the sky, when the sun is up there in the sky, who should utilize that opportunity? All of us. The sun would be here for some time. Then it will travel towards the west. It will set. When the sun is here, you have to work. It is your duty. We should make hay while the sun shines. That should be understood. Now, there are many more things that happened in Bhagavad Ramanuja's life. We were seeing about how he was visiting different temples. After staying in Tirupati and composing a stotra of Bhagavan and learning Ramayana from Tirumalai Nambi, everything, he again visited more kshetras. He visited more temples. He prayed to Bhagavan there. Afterwards, he also visited places that were celebrating the Alvars. And he paid due respects to the Alvars. He listened to the Divya Prabandham and expressed complete happiness. Eventually, he returned to Sri Rangam. When he returned to Sri Rangam, he went to Bhagavan there and took his blessings. Now Bhagavan is talking to Bhagavad Ramanuja. How are you? It's been a while. Are you well? We call this Kushalokti. When we see some person, we should first ask these kinds of questions. I hope everything is well. Is there anything you need? Bhagavan does this kind of Kushalokti. Then he asked, I have descended on earth multiple times. There are multiple temples for me for that. Have you visited all such temples that were in your list? Bhagavad Ramanuja says, yes, I have. All of them are your places only. But Bhagavad Ramanuja adds, These places are like your gardens. What does it mean? A king, when he wants to have some enjoyment time, free time away from work at the court, he would get out of the darbar. He would enter the garden, sit there, relax. That is done in the garden. But does the king live in the garden or does he live in the palace? He lives in the palace, not the garden. In the case of Bhagavan, in spite of being omnipresent, we, of course, cannot perceive his omnipresence. We perceive him with a proper name and form. That kind of a name and form that is perceivable to us, he has in Vaikuntha, the original abode. But again, we can see them only if we travel there. That is, if we get moksha. Now, Bhagavad Ramanuja says, all of those dhamas, all of those temples, they are like your upavana, they are like your gardens. You go there for some time, you stay. But your original dhama is Sri Vaikuntha. And of that Sri Vaikuntha, if you look at Sri Rangam, what is Sri Rangam? Sri Rangam is also Vaikuntha. It is Bhuloka Vaikuntha. So he says, all of those are like your gardens, but this is the place where you really reside. Therefore, I am not interested in leaving this Dhamma of yours, leaving this divine abode of yours, that is Sri Rangam. I am not interested in leaving it and going to some other temple. He says, look, once you see the softness and the fragrance of the jasmine, would you go to any other flower? No, definitely not. In the same way, I see you, O Sri Rangesha. I don't see any need to keep traveling. I wish to remain here. In the next class, we will discuss a little more about the conversation between Bhagavan and Ramanujacharya. But here, Bhagavad Ramanuja says, Dhametah paramiha nanyadiyam ikshe. As I have attained this Dhama of Sri Rangam, I don't think any other Dhama is necessary. And then, after saying so, remember this. These words will be later reflected in even Swami Deshika's words. When Deshika says, Serada Payanellam Serkum Kovil. Serada Payanellam Serkum Kovil. He is praising Sri Rangam. Arada Arulamudam Podinda Kovil. Ambuyaton Ayodhi Mannar Kalitta Kovil. Arada Arulamudam. There is infinite grace, the nectar of infinite grace comes from Sri Ranga. It is infinite. Therefore, whatever you can get from outside, you can get from Sri Ranga. Then he describes the temple. Ambuyaton Ayodhi Manar Kalita Koil. It is the temple given by Brahmadeva to the king of Ayodhya. It is the temple that was worshipped by Rama. And it is again the one that was worshipped by Vibhishana. Ranganatha looks southwards to bless Vibhishana in Sri Rangam temple. After seeing this, Deshika says, Serada Payanellam Serkum Koil. It is the temple that gives the phalas that even other temples might not be able to give. Some people say, you have this dosha, go to this temple. That dosha, go to that temple. You have to please Shani, go to this temple. You have to please Rahu, you go to that temple. You perform Ganapati Puja, go to this temple. They will say 100 temples for 100 things. Is there one such temple which, if you visit, it will be equal to visiting all such temples and perhaps even more? Yudhishthira asks Bhishma, Kim ekam daivatam loke? Who is that one devata? Kim vapyekam parayanam? What does he mean by who is that one devata? There are many, many devatas. Who is that one devata who alone needs to be worshipped? Does it mean others should not be worshipped? Well, if you worship others, those prayers will also go to him. Therefore, kimvapyekam parayanam, akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram. Like how water that falls from the sky eventually reaches the ocean. In that way, Sarvadeva Namaskaraha Keshavam Prati Gacchati. No matter which devata you worship, that worship will go to Keshava. In reality, it is the same thing. So Yudhishthira asks that Kim ekam daivatam loke kimbapyekam parayanam stuvanta kamarchanta prapni utmana vashubham ko dharma sarva dharmanam. Who is the dharma of all the dharmas? Kim japan muchyate jantu janma samsara bandhanat. By performing the japa of whom can people get rid of janma samsara bandhana? That person, as Bhishma is going to describe as Jagat Prabhu, Deva Deva, Ananta, Purushottama. When he says Purushottama itself, the case is settled, the answer has come. But the point is, when there is that one Devata, Kimma Ekam Parayanam, Kim Ekam Daivatam Loke. Pavitranam Pavitram Yaha, Mangalanam Cha Mangalam. The holiest of the holy. These are the descriptions that we get for Vishnu. And therefore, when we can worship Vishnu, why should we worship others? We are not disrespecting others in any way. We are simply saying that when we have Him with us, we don't have to think about any other entity. We will just continue contemplating on Him. In the same way, with no disrespect to the other temples, Bhagavad Ramanuja said, this temple can give all the phalas. You are here. This is your original abode as well. Therefore, when I have Bhagavan of Vaikuntha with me, then why should I go to other temples? So he is not reducing the importance of other temples. He is not demeaning them. He is simply saying, I am already happy with whatever I have. I may be eating rice every day. Somebody comes and asks, can you eat rotis? Well, I can eat, but does it mean I will eat? I say, I am used to rice. For me, rice is enough. I don't need to eat. Is that an insult to eat? No, it is not. It is just a preference for rice. It is in this way that we should take Bhagavad Ramanuja's response to Ranganatha. Now, Bhagavad Ramanuja also, as we saw earlier, he was teaching a lot. His aim was not just to remain an intellectual who will write a few commentaries, teach his Shishyas alone and leave it at that. There are acharyas of the past who left it that way. Many of them got forgotten eventually. Their works got lost, the acharyas got forgotten. There are a number of acharyas who wrote to their Shishyas. Their Shishyas did not take everything to the public, but somehow they got royal patronage at some point of time. And by using the patronage, they managed to revive themselves. Even today, there are schools of philosophy that do not teach the truth about themselves to others. They will hide certain parts. Why? These are fallacious schools of philosophy, illogical schools. They will hide their true nature and they will speak in a very sweet tongue. We have those kinds of unfortunate philosophers, unfortunate Sanatanis, unfortunate schools of philosophy, matas. So, Bhagavad Ramanuja told his Shishyas, look, I am teaching you, but I am not teaching you so that you keep it to yourself or that you teach it to only your Shishyas. Whatever I am teaching you is for your benefit and for the benefit of the entire world. Therefore, what should you do? After learning properly, you should spread out the message. Spread out the message of bhakti. Spread out the message that everybody is eligible to try for moksha. All of those things were taught by Bhagavad Ramanuja. At one point, seeing Bhagavad Ramanuja to be perfect in terms of behavior, perfect in terms of being ritualistic, perfect in terms of theory as well. Bhagavad Ramanuja, what a great Acharya he is. Thinking this way, Bhagavan played a Leela. Bhagavan came in the form of a child and Bhagavad Ramanuja performed Samashrayana for that child, which is Bhagavan himself. Why? What is Bhagavan trying to do? He is trying to show the world that Bhagavad Ramanuja is Jagat Guru. He is trying to honor Bhagavad Ramanuja by undertaking Samashrayana under him. Ramanujacharya is my guru as well. Look, I am also his Shishya. In that way, Bhagavan is saying. Of course, a Leela. But Bhagavan is saying that way. So, Bhagavan Ranganatha honored Bhagavad Ramanuja, who is the first guru in Sri Vaishnavism, Bhagavan himself. Kamapyadyam gurum vande kamalagrahamedhinam pravakta chandasam bhakta pancharatra se swayam. Deshika says. So, it is Vishnu who was the very first guru. Sriman Narayana, he was the very first guru. But that guru is becoming a student of Bhagavad Ramanuja, undertaking Samashrayana from him. Please give me initiation. He is coming and asking. Clearly a Leela. So, these kinds of incidents happened in Bhagavad Ramanuja's life. At one point of time, Bhagavad Ramanuja visited a place where a dumb person was living. Bhagavad Ramanuja cured the dumb person. With that, the dumb person also started singing praises of Bhagavad Ramanuja. So, on one side, he is serving the society. On the other side, Bhagavan himself is so pleased that he comes with Shishya Bhava. So, at Kanchipuram, Bhagavan, who is there in the form of Varadaraja, he also said, what did Bhagavan say? Bhagavan said, if you perform one pradakshina of Bhagavad Ramanuja, it will be equal to performing pradakshina to the entire world. Pradakshina is a very great thing. We do pradakshina in temples. In some cases, like in Govardhanagiri, we do parikrama. We do a pradakshina. We do a pradakshina of a mountain. But there is also pradakshina of the entire earth, which is also said to be holy. It is the most difficult thing to do. Doing pradakshina in a temple is easy. Doing it for a mountain is difficult, but people are still capable of doing it. What about the entire Bhumi? You pray to Bhumi Devi by circling the entire earth. What do you get when you pray to Bhumi Devi? Swami Deshika says in Bhustuti about the greatness of Bhumi Devi. Bhumi Devi is an aspect of Lakshmi Devi. Of which kind? She also helps us to attain moksha. So, Deshika says, she is the mother of the entire universe. You surrender to her. When you surrender to her, Bhagavan will automatically take care of us. So, surrendering to Bhumi Devi by performing parikrama of the entire Bhumi. What will happen if you do that? She will recommend us to Bhagavan for moksha. And remember, her recommendation never fails. In the case of Bhagavad Ramanuja, you do pradakshina of him once. That is enough. Why? Because it is equal to doing pradakshinas of the entire earth. That is a fact. Because if you surrender to Bhagavad Ramanuja, then Bhagavan will grant you moksha. This has already been given as a boon to Bhagavad Ramanuja. It was also the purpose of Bhagavad Ramanuja's birth. We could say many more points in defense of that. So this is a truth which has already existed. But by making it loud and clear, the Bhagavan at Kanchi, who used to speak through Tirukachinambigal, he further highlighted the glory of Bhagavad Ramanuja. At one point, Bhagavan at a specific temple, he told the people there, among you, whoever acknowledges Bhagavad Ramanuja as your Acharya and are Shishyas of him, please come forward and do puja to me first. At this point, there were a number of Shishyas of Mahapurna Swami, Periyanambi. Remember, Bhagavad Ramanuja was also one of the Shishyas of Mahapurna Swami. There were other Shishyas as well, right? So they were all there. Some other Shishyas of Mahapurna Swami. They did not get up. They thought Bhagavan is asking the Shishyas of Bhagavad Ramanuja to go towards him. Let them go and perform puja. That is a nice thing. But we are not Shishyas of Bhagavad Ramanuja. He is not an Acharya for us. Our Acharya is Periyanambi, who is also the Acharya of Bhagavad Ramanuja. Therefore, let us not get up. Let us stay seated as the Shishyas of Bhagavad Ramanuja move forward and perform puja. We are his equivalents at the end of the day. We are his colleagues. We have studied along with him. How can we get up? At that point, Bhagavan told, see, you people are great Bhagavatas. Therefore, I would like to tell you one thing. Please listen carefully. I have, in the past, appeared as the son of Vasudeva. I have been the son of Nanda. Why? Did being the son of Vasudeva make me any inferior? Just like how during my avatara kala, I was born as the son of different people. Here in this avatara kala, Adishesha has become the Shishya of Sri Mahapurna. And therefore, you should understand his greatness to be far more than what meets the eye. In this manner, Bhagavad Ramanuja told the Shishyas of Mahapurna Swami as well as their Shishyas to also surrender to Bhagavad Ramanuja. So the Shishyas, Bhagavad Ramanuja Shishyas, they got to move first and perform puja. The Guru's Shishyas had to wait. Why? Because not because of Bhagavan, but because of themselves. They thought we are the Guru's Shishyas, we are Mahapurna Swami's Shishyas, we are not Bhagavad Ramanuja Shishyas. Why should we go? They thought that way. And therefore, they ended up sitting there. Fortunately for them, Bhagavan himself clarified and revealed the divinity of Bhagavad Ramanuja. With this, let us conclude today's class. If there is any question, please feel free to let me know. I will wait for another 30 seconds. If there is any question, I can answer. Isn't it dharma to stand up for dharma? When someone do adharma with us, shouldn't we stand up for dharma? Absolutely right question. We should stand up for dharma. But if we also indulge in adharma, that will not be standing up for dharma. Okay. Standing up for dharma does not mean becoming adharmic in the name of protecting dharma. If I become adharmic in the name of protecting dharma, then there will be no difference between me and the adharmi who is attacking me. We might be fighting each other, but I have also become an adharmi. Dharma should not be forsaken, even for the sake of protecting dharma. Dharma eva hato hanti. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. Tasmat dharmo na hantavyaha. Mano dharmo hato vadit. You cannot forsake dharma. Dharma will protect the protector of dharma. If you protect dharma, dharma will protect you. So focus on protecting dharma rather than on destroying adharma. Because if your focus is on destroying adharma, you yourself might indulge in adharma while thinking that you are fighting and destroying adharma. But if your focus is on preserving dharma, you will always be dharmic. That is the teaching. Is this clear, Janarji? As I said, when there is a war, it is correct. You have to go and fight back. That is the teaching of Krishna as well. Krishna tells Arjuna, go and fight the war, O Arjuna. That is a literal war, literal battle. There the rules are different. You can stand up for yourself. You can have self-respect without using cuss words to insult the other person. No. Do you think you will get self-respect if you go and use bad words to other people? If I call somebody as a dog, pig, whatever, will that make me a respectable person? I don't think so. You can maintain self-respect and honor while remaining honorable. Behaving like a dishonorable person in the name of maintaining self-respect will not work. I hope that clarifies. Okay. Thank you so much. Shivatsam Praklashodhi goes to Basi Shivas Raghava Guru Sanem Tatasha Vidya Vapi Bhutam Tam Radhanam Kuves Dardi Guru Karakhi. That is my Kalyan Gunsan Shimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Guru Velam. Thank you so much for attending.